It's the Playhouse Podcast with Kat and JJ.
Can't believe it. I missed everything.
Missed the show?
What am I going to do?
Check out the Daily Podcast.
A lot of us have joked that if you see a spider in your house, you're going to burn it down. Well, one guy finally did what we have all joked about, burned down both the houses alongside of him as well. And so we opened up the phones this morning to people who have had an unfortunate fire. And the very first call we got was more than unfortunate. It was a little bit laughable. You have to hear this coming up in the podcast. Let's go. I understand things change. I get it. But I'm not going to live my life in fear.
Yeah. And I grew up sleeping over at many people's houses. And like I said, thankfully, it was never an issue. Sadly, some kids have to deal with certain decisions that adults
during
make.
Christmas vacation, spring break, or summer vacation. I bet I didn't sleep at my house 20% of the time.
Yeah. So this recent article from the New York Times has people thinking about it, talking about it, dialogue, which is always good. And then at the end of the day, you're the parent. You decide what's best for your child. But they're talking about the negatives of allowing your kids to sleep over at friends' houses. So first off, they did note the benefits, which are what?
You're socializing.
Social development.
Holy cow. And learning different things.
And also independence and like fun, you know, and you're not missing out and all your friends are at a sleepover and snapping you from that sleepover that you couldn't go to.
Well, now, like, I learned so many things from my friends' parents. Like, they just did things different than my parents.
Yeah.
And I learned so many things about how they ran their household. I would constantly be going back on like a Sunday afternoon and telling my mom and dad, hey, you know how they do it at Brian's house?
Yeah.
And my parents would be like, well, that's not how we do it here.
Yeah,
and I learned that, like, you learn so many different things, but it's just that social interaction. Like, this is me talking. But if I was to say to any of my three kids when they were younger, no, you can't stay at someone else's house, I would feel, number one, that I'm doing them a disservice because they're not socializing. Yeah. But then there's that left out feeling, right? You want more FOMO in your life? Mm-hmm. Tell your kids they can't go sleep over at their friend's house.
So I have a friend that does tell her daughter, who is 12, that she's never had a sleepover at a friend's house, but they can all sleep over at her house. So it's not like she's missing out, you know, on that experience. But my friend has, I guess, a valid reason. Something had happened to her cousin when they were younger. And she's like, I don't ever want to be responsible for sending my child into what she calls the lion's den.
If you do it knowing that something bad's going to happen to your kid, then you're responsible.
Why would you ever do that?
I'm just saying, but otherwise, you don't know that's going to. It's like me saying, I'm not going to let my kid drive his car to school today because he might get in an accident. Well, that's not my fault.
So obvious concerns, sleepovers often center on opportunities for, they say, sexual abuse, bullying, and then sleep deprivation. Yes, you did not want to be the first one to fall asleep. Your hand would be in that warm
you get
water
Sharpie
bucket
on the face,
and
man.
you'd pee your pants. And then they're like, you can't sleep over here again. So I want to know, what is your rule for sleepovers? Every parent is going to do it differently. What works for you and your kids?
Jason is on line one. He has a 9-year-old daughter, and they're saying no to sleepovers. So I want to get the reasoning for that, but I want to hear from you as well, okay? So according to the New York Times, you should really, really give some more thought to letting your kids have a sleepover or sleeping over at someone else's house because of the bullying, because of the sleep deprivation, and then the chance that something unthinkable would happen.
Yeah. And it just truly could be somebody that sees a young girl and thinks impure things and wrecks the rest of her life or his life, a little boy. You just never know. I think the article was designed to just get that conversation going and see where parents stood. They did, however, talk about the benefits, and that was like social development. Independence was also talked about, and I agree with that. Like with my kid, go pack what you think you need. And then when you go without, you're going to have that feeling of, oh no, I have to remember to pack it. I have to brush my teeth in the morning. I send those texts to Liam because his morning breath could light a car on fire. And I'm like, you have to make sure that you're presentable. You know, there are a lot of things that go into a sleepover.
Anyone in Liam's friend group, because this happened with all of my kids, where they had friends that were just, they didn't want to do sleepovers. They were afraid of sleeping at someone else's house.
Yeah.
Right?
And that was my friend Kelly. She didn't have her first sleepover until we were seniors, and her mom filmed it when she left the house in the morning. She was like, we're documenting this. This is a big day. I guess I never knew why she never wanted to sleep over, but we always just slept over at her
I
house.
feel it's okay to put your child in a challenging situation. They learn to overcome obstacles, to fear a little bit less. And Jason, I appreciate you holding for so long, man. You have a 9-year-old daughter, from what I understand, and you're saying no, huh?
I don't think you should be going. I don't know what's going on at these other people's houses. I don't trust. I don't know the parents.
Yeah.
I want her at my house.
This is a very big topic right now. I know that my younger brother, who has a daughter and son, this is where they stand. He and his wife will never let them sleep over
You're
at anyone's
kidding
house.
me.
No, and you know what? I think you're very valid in your concerns because, an adult could do one thing in one night and change the course of that child's life.
Is this where we're at?
Forever. It's absolutely where we're at. So is that the topic of conversation between you and your wife?
We fight all the time.
Really? Probably don't let them out of the house or let them eat food or drink water because there's plastics in the water and there's preservatives in the food. So, yeah, I mean, I would just, lock them in their room and, feed
I'm
them
like
beef
you.
jerky.
I watch so much Dateline where I'm just
ridiculous.
like, yeah, they were a great guy. You never saw it coming. And then
You guys you're basing your lives in fear right now.
yeah, certain things I do.
Cat and JJ.
Had a couple of interesting remarks as I posted this on social media. Amber said, no, we do late night pickups with my kid, usually around midnight or 1 a.m. So we'll let them stay late, but they don't get to sleep over. Charity had said, my daughter cannot be trusted. So her sleepovers are done at our house.
So it's your kid's problem.
I don't want to hear more about that.
I think like at midnight, that's when that's when you start doing the makeup
Parents
and the
are
hair.
asleep.
And you're
You're
doing
gonna-
the TikTok dances and stuff.
I'm old
So-
enough where it would be, we're going to try and watch that scrambled TV station and see a boob. That's how old I am.
I will always let Liam sleep over if it's somewhere where he feels comfortable. And I'm like, okay, well, you have a cell phone. Kids did not have cell phones back in the day when you felt uncomfortable maybe and you wanted to go home. You just kind of like waited until the sun came up. And
For me, the Mendoza line was always meeting the parents. I got
trust your gut.
You get a vibe off
Yeah.
the parents. If they're weird, then guess what? We got to go to Aunt Linda's house tomorrow, and I'm going to pick you up at 9:30. What is the red letter date on your calendar this summer? The thing you are most looking forward to? It's kind of like the build up to that.
I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to it to being done June 20th, Freedom Days.
Okay, so your town festival.
It's a town festival. I run it, and there's just a lot of moving parts. And the only thing that I cannot control, and I'm a control freak, is the weather. And that's it. I mean, everything else pretty much falls into place. But aside from that, once that's done, like breeze through the rest of the summer.
Mine's kind of the same. My son's getting married on July something.
Wow.
And I think it's the 31st. But what I see my son and his fiance so chilled about this.
Yeah.
Like they're so cool and calm and collected. Now it's not a big 4,000 person, church wedding and everything like that. And every time we ask them a question about it, they're like, whatever. And I'm just like, my goodness. And she's not like a freak like that. And neither is he. They just want it to be low key, spend some time with their friends and their family, and then just kind of start their life.
I think once all the details have come together, which it seems like they have everything done.
But most of us get bogged down in those details. Are the candelabras okay? This and this and this and this.
You don't worry about candelabras if you don't have candelabras.
Yeah, right? And it's not like they're doing a minimalist thing. They're just like, we don't need it. And I'm like, good for you guys, because when my wife was planning our wedding, boy, it only rivaled Prince Charles and Diana's wedding. You know what I mean? Like that, it was so, but I'm like, I'm so looking forward to that. And I got so many other things before that, but I just think about that every day. Like when you marry off your first kid, you're just like, oh my God, you are so much somebody else's problem now.
What a day that's going to be. You're going to cry.
I'll probably cry.
I think you'll cry.
I probably will.
I've only seen you cry one other time, so this will be a good cry.
Old man stuff starts creeping in, and then you start crying for different reasons. Like you see an amazing double play turned, and you're like, that's great. I'm
I'm going to take a picture of you crying, and I'm going to make it into a meme.
So you had an eventful night. You and your friends won $200?
They were like, well, let's each put in 20. I went up, and then there was a pull a window tab that one of my friends pulled. And I went up there and she goes, oh, it's number 11. Flip it over. And it was $200. And it was so fun. Because if we each put in 200, then I really won 30. Girl math.
So how much money do you really
I won
bring
30.
home? Okay, 30. Okay. Well, then never mind. That's not that big of a deal.
But still, like I won. Drinks and appetizers were covered. So that was nice.
Hey, think about the last time you got gas. All right. You pull up to the pump. You'd probably pay at the pump. You pay it? No?
I don't ever pay at the pump.
You don't?
No, I go in for a little drinky drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this morning, I pull into the gas station. I start fueling up. I walk in. I get a cup of coffee. And I pay for it. And I walk out. And I'm paying at the pump.
Yeah.
And there's somebody right behind me. Now, there's like 16 pumps at this gas station. I'm on the only one. Somebody pulls in right behind me, which is weird to begin with. I think I need, give me some space. But then the lady goes, you're not supposed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I go, do what? I'm standing there with a cup of coffee paying for my gas. She goes, you're not supposed to go in anywhere and come back because if you touch it, it could spark and it could blow up the whole place.
Oh, my God.
And I said,
we got the pump police.
I said, you're kidding me, right? She goes, it's proven. I've seen it. And I just said, all right, I'll never do it again then. Have a great day.
Yeah.
And then she just kind of eyeballed me. But I'm like, I know it says you're not supposed to get back in your vehicle because you could generate some static electricity. And then when you touch the pump, you're supposed to stay out there and watch it pump.
Hell no. If we lived in Florida, for sure, I would do that. But no, when it's 40 below wind chill, I'm sitting in my car.
Outside of seeing it on social media, has anyone ever seen this happen? Where somebody touched a gas pump because they generated some static electricity and then it started on fire.
I just don't know how the static electricity would work because you're walking on cement.
But you still have it built up, and until you touch something metal, it's probably not going to discharge. It's in your body, right? And then if you touch the metal pump and it generates a spark and there's fuel there, it could. I understand the theory behind it. I also understand the theory behind putting a rover on Mars. I get it. I just have never seen it. I haven't been around it. I would just be curious if anyone has ever seen a gas pump start on fire because you sat back in your car and it's got cloth seats, or you touched something and you went into the gas station and rubbed your foot on the mat, and all of a sudden you discharged some electricity and the pump blew up or started on fire.
I've been pumping gas since I was 15 years old. I've never even gotten a boom, scary little spark.
Even when you were stealing cars at 13, you
Never.
didn't put the fuel back in?
No.
Well, that's that's a rookie mistake.
Stole the car.
If you're going to steal a car, you got to put the gas back in before you bring it home. Otherwise, they're going to know. I couldn't believe this girl. It's 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like, and you got nothing else to do. It made me think, how many times has she seen a gas station blow up that she has to approach a random stranger?
That would have been a good question. And then that would make her say, okay, maybe I should cool down a little bit. Maybe I should stop with the unsolicited, scary advice.
Well, I've gotten to the point now in my life where I ask myself, are you going out like this? Whenever there's a confrontation, I used to be a wild confrontation person. But now anytime, anywhere that somebody has something to say, I go, are you going out like this? And then I usually just pull back, because you don't know who's got a gun on him anymore. You don't know who's got a knife on him anymore.
Yeah.
Or who's got a big-ass boyfriend in the front seat that might come beat the piss out of you.
I wouldn't go up against people like that. The ones that, you didn't ask for any of their advice, but they gave it to you because it won't stop. And that would be very annoying. So to me, the way you handled it is probably the right way. Just gotcha. Thank you so much.
And then I was like, oh, my gosh, she's going to go home to her kids and yell at them because they're not on the bus in time. She had that look to her.
And that won't stop. People like that, they love that.
I heard Kat once say, if I find spiders in my house, I'm burning it down. But imagine that you actually did it, and all of a sudden you're hearing the fire department. They're on their way. So this is from a small town in Pennsylvania where this guy had a roommate. He owned the home, but he had a roommate, all right, helping to share the rent cost, the mortgage cost. The roommate says that one day he came home from work, and Patrick is on line one, but William was his name. William is lighting fires in the living room to all the rugs because he had found spiders. Mm-hmm. And so his roommate just kept extinguishing them. They had a fire extinguisher under the sink.
Just one after the other.
And then he lit another one and then moved the love seat over the top of it. Mm-hmm. And then the love seat caught on fire, caught the drapes, and burned down the houses on both sides of him. It got so big and out of control before the fire department could get it under control. The guy got charged with arson, felony arson arrest. And I thought, you know what? Every once in a while you hear that story. We all say something, but then you hear about the guy that finally did it.
Yeah.
And you're like, that dude burned down 3 houses because he found some spiders in his house.
Sounds like an overreaction. You know, when they're like, a woman can't be president, she gets her period. It's like, that sounds like an overreaction.
Bears can smell it.
Okay.
So I wanted to ask about the time the fire got a little bit out of hand. Patrick, you want to tell us the story, bud?
Yeah, one time my ex-girlfriend left her luxury toy plugged in too long and burnt our whole
Plugged
townhouse
in?
down.
I've never heard of one that gets plugged in.
So she's charging it, it overheats, and it burned your entire townhouse down.
Yeah, it was bad.
And does somebody get charged with something like this, or does the fire department just laugh at it, look at her, and then say, well, call your insurance company?
Yeah, pretty much. They just kind of giggled and told us the reason of the fire. I wasn't home at the time, but
And
I got a good laugh out of it.
You know,
gonna
it's the
say-
insurance commercials where they're like, we cover it all because we've seen it all. And that would be one of them. I wonder if it's in the small print where it's like toasters covered, hair dryers covered.
luxury toys.
Luxury toys not covered. That's ridiculous. You use a battery powered one like everybody else.
Was this the catalyst to the end of this relationship? Because I did hear you say X, or was there more to it?
No, there was more to it, but yeah, it was a crazy, wild night.
What do you do for housing after something like that? You know, your townhouse is smoldering. Do you just got to catch in a hotel for a little while, or find an apartment, or what?
We just roomed up with my parents for a couple weeks until
Okay.
we found another townhouse that we didn't burn down.
Okay, that we didn't burn down.
Did you change the story a little bit for mom and dad? Did you say this?
Yeah, we just told them we left a flat iron on.
But I think that's
Mom,
best.
Dad, we're gonna need to
Yeah.
shack up here for a while. Gina left the rabbit plugged in.
I honestly am just like so baffled. I'm a female. I don't know what would be plugged in. But.
Great start to this,
Yeah.
man. We appreciate your story. Hope you have a great day.
So there are so many changes that are happening lately. You heard that Mr. Clean is going away, right? The bald guy with
no.
the earring and the muscles. And people are like, what's the point? The woman that does all the work and the kitchen scrubbing, whatever. But they just decided to revamp the image. And so he's going away. He did a press conference and everything.
Really?
Yeah. And so now I read that J.M. Smucker's going to look different.
With a name like Smucker's, it has to be good.
Why? What are they
They're
doing?
going to have a
with
new, fresh label on their glass jam jar. The first time in 30 years that they're doing this. And they had a whole bunch at this thrift store that I went to with like next to those Flintstone cups. Do you remember the glass Flintstone collectible cups?
Yeah, from McDonald's.
So they had all these old school Smucker's jars, and I'm like, oh, those would be really valuable right about now. But like that was my childhood. My grandmother would take the saltine crackers, put the butter on it, and then put the Smucker's jelly on top, and that would be like a snack that she would give us. But I think the product that I remember most from my childhood, and I would still drink it today, is PDQ. Did you ever have PDQ?
No.
Pretty delicious, quickly powder mix.
No.
My grandma Katie would send us to go get some of that in different flavors. They had peanut butter, they had strawberry, but chocolate was our favorite. And it was like a sister of Ovaltine.
Okay.
So like it was kind of like that. But it tasted medically, you know, like you could taste some medicine in there. I don't know if like, and then we all took naps after. So no, I'm just kidding. Like you guys need some more PDQ. But I remember going down there and they don't make it like at all anymore. It's gone. But it was, you'd put it in some milk or some water and it would be really, really good.
We always got the Flavorite drink mix. So it was supposed to be like hot chocolate mix.
Yeah.
And I remember my friends would have the one with the bunny on it. What was it? Quick?
Nestle
Quick.
Mm-hmm.
And it like we always had to get the generic stuff because we didn't have the money you had. And I remember like
I think you guys did have the money. I just think they chose to spend it.
I just remember
differently.
like my friends would be over, and if we had a sleepover or something,
Yeah.
and we were gonna make hot chocolate, like I would body that up so that nobody could see what I was mixing in their cup because
Yeah.
it was just brown and white. It just said chocolate drink mix. You know what I mean? Like when it's a generic item, it just says what it is. It doesn't have a fancy name or anything like that. And then I remember swirling it in the cup, and like nobody knew the difference, but I remember just thinking, how much better Nestle Quick tasted when I'd go to a friend's house.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, you guys are loaded. But what I remember the most, and I don't even know if they still make these. I know they make like the Sam's Club or Costco big pot pies, but I remember the little ones in the metal. But it seemed like when you're a kid and your mom or dad says, hey, I threw a pot pie in the oven for you, that 45 minutes it takes for that thing seemed like 7 or 8 days. It seemed like it was in there for a week, and then you'd get it. My dad would flip it over on a plate, and then by the time you cut into it, but all the stuff in the middle was still frozen.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So you'd have to swirl it all around so that you got a little frozen with the heated stuff. But that's a big core memory for me is like pot pie on a Friday night would seem like a treat to our family. And we put in 4 pot pies in the oven. Let's go.
I wonder where my disdain for pot pies came from. Like, I have never had a pot pie. Ever in my life.
The beef ones were the best because
savory gravy.
The beef gravy that was in everything.
Okay.
The chicken ones were okay, but it was that chickeny gravy, right? Which isn't always but the beef gravy was salt. Oh, I could taste it now. Yeah. And then it had the carrots and something green.
So there's one at Sam's Club. I'm going to Sam's today, and I always look at it. It's like with the pre-made meals, that make your life easier.
It's made for like 10 people.
It's made for, yes, the town of Myers Grove. Like they could all eat it. And I always look at it, and I wonder, would my guys be into it? Because I'm willing to try it. But
I'd give it a shot. If
you
like it, I mean, you got leftovers for the week then.
Maybe I should start with like a mini one that you're talking about and see if
I don't know if they make them anymore, but they were about the size of a compact disc.
Yeah.
They were just kind of tiny. And I just remember it waiting and just looking.
Friday night delicacy.
And we had the oven that was probably never cleaned, so the little window was all brownish.
Yeah.
And I remember just squinting through there being like, how do you know if it's done?
Oh, John says I still live off those.
The pot
pies? All right,
pies?
John, so they still make them. That's good to know. All right, so I heard this punk call that this daughter made to her dad, but then it hit home with what's happening to one of my family members. So here's the...
I think I'm going to come home for the weekend. Someone's actually going to come with me.
Like one of your friends or who you're bringing or whatever?
Actually, him and I have actually gotten back together.
I mean, come on. We talked about this. You've been through therapy because of him. And I hope you don't think you're staying here. I don't want him here. You can stay here, but I don't want him. Where's he going to stay?
He's going to stay at the house with all of us.
No.
So I'm so grateful that my daughter has a great head on her shoulders because I've never had to have this kind of conversation with her.
Yeah. And it's just really hard. My cousin Caro, who lives in Wyoming, she is yet again getting back. And I know when you involve kids, it's like a little bit more difficult. You want to keep that family unit together. I totally understand that. But it's like the big announcements on Facebook, we broke up and then we're back together. And we hear like through our group text the stuff that he does. And then she's like, oh, yeah, you guys are having Clarkapalooza this summer. So-and-so is coming with us. And can't wait for you guys to see him again. It's been a few years. And I'm like,
it's a really crazy human trait that when you feel loved, you're willing to forget so much bad stuff that's happened to you. It's very, very weird. And I can only assume that therapists see this as like the root cause of almost all of us being stupid is just for some kind of affection or love.
Yeah. And I mean, he's stolen so much money from her and he is not kind. Like he's never hit her or anything like that. He's a semi-good dad, I think. He doesn't go to a lot of the sporting events, but it's like, now when he comes, we're all going to be like, hey, how's it going? How's life out there? Oh my God, Wyoming's so beautiful.
Boy, that would be horrible in that situation.
I just won't be able to say anything. I'll just keep my distance. But it's, there are so many people that don't realize it's kind of a head game for your loved ones too. Like you're expecting them to totally forget how much they love you and how much they wanted to get back at that person. And then all of a sudden, everything is supposed to be perfect.
This happened on my wife's side of the family. We had to go to a Christmas, and the douchebag, cousin-in-law, whatever, showed up, and he had just gotten out of jail, and everyone was like, I can't believe he's going to be there. And she's like, I want him here for the kids and to have a happy family Christmas.
And I get that. I totally
So what I did
that.
is I sat down, I had a beer with the guy, and I just go, hey, how about the Vikings? What are you thinking this year? Like I found common ground that had nothing to do with his relationship. And then we're on the way home and my wife's like, I can't believe you were talking to him. And I'm like, What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like and her family is one of those families where all the women sit in the kitchen and all the guys are supposed to sit around and watch the football game or something like that. And I'm like, I'm stuck on one seat next to this guy. What was I supposed to be like? How was the joint? Can you make a shift?
I'm surprised you didn't.
Well, I didn't really want to talk to him all that much, but I'm trying to put myself in a social situation.
Yeah.
So have you been or are you currently in this kind of a situation?
Kendra texted in during that song, my sister has gotten back with her ex 7 times. They fight all the time. He still has no job. He's a leech. I literally can't see the appeal. And every time they get back together, everyone has to act like they're not both crazy. And we have to continue to support.
I bet you they have kids. I think that's the number one ruling thing is you want the family with the dog and the picket fence in suburbia.
But listen, if you don't have any kids and you're on breakup number 4, 5, 6, and you involve your family every single time, those violins are going to get a little bit more faint every time.
What kind of grip could somebody have on you that you're willing to backslide into and what is it in your head that you're just like, he changed. She changed. She's not going to cheat on me anymore.
Yeah. I don't get the no job. They just lay around and you pay for everything.
How do you get that, by the way? Because this waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning stuff
basically
is
there.
Exhausting. We had heard this prank call from this woman who was just really getting under her dad's skin.
I think I'm going to come home for the weekend. Someone's actually going to come with me.
Like one of your friends or who you're bringing, or whatever.
Actually, him and I have actually gotten back together.
I mean, come on. We talked about this. You've been through therapy because of him. And I hope you don't think you're staying here. I don't want him here. You can stay here, but I don't want him. Where's he going to stay?
He's going to stay at the house with all of us.
No.
Did you ever have a man in your life that your parents reacted this way to? How about your ex-fiance?
They never met him.
Wait, you dated for a while. You lived with him. You were engaged. You were ready to move to Vegas, and they never met him?
No. My sister met him.
You should see the smile on her face right now. She looks like the Cheshire Cat.
Because it's so ridiculous. To even mention that phase of my life is so ridiculous. I have no explanation. I will not try to make up any reasoning as to why I was the way I was.
You were in love. You thought you were getting insta family. That's one of the big things, I bet.
I don't even know.
You didn't like that kid?
Don't even try to dissect anything about it. I don't not like any kid. It was a cute kid, but it wasn't my kid. And I was 21. 21, crazy.
We started asking people if they're in a situation where basically they're on the backslide in a relationship, or you bring the boyfriend or girlfriend back around even though they've done you wrong so many times. What got me is that guy's like, you were through therapy. I don't want this guy back at my house.
Multiple breakups. Andrew says this is why you can't say too much to the person that you're friends with when they are going through a breakup, just in case they get back together. Because then if you say exactly what you really feel, then you might lose your friend too, But you're just trying to be a good friend. So thanks for texting.
Yeah, we appreciate you guys. Yeah. It made me think of when my dad was still alive. We had the prank call, and I'm like, I got to pull this back up. This is when we called my dad. He was at work. He was about ready to retire, and you could tell he was just kind of done with things.
Continental Hydraulics is Gary.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, hi.
Hello?
Hello?
This is Gary.
You know who I am?
No.
This is Fred Rogers.
Who?
Fred Rogers.
Still don't have a clue.
Oh, I'm glad you called.
Who are you trying to reach?
I remember a time not very long ago when I went to see my friends, the Leonards.
I'm totally drawing a blank.
Have you by any chance lost your kitty?
No.
No.
Who are you trying to reach?
Lady Elaine.
I have no idea who you're trying to get a hold of.
Mr. McFeely.
Pardon me?
Mr. McFeely.
You might have the wrong number.
I think you must want 143-6870.
No.
What would you tell Lady Elaine if you were talking with her right now?
I have no idea who that is.
Do you have ways of showing you're angry?
I'm going to hang up because I don't think you dialed the correct number.
You know who I am?
I don't have the faintest idea who you are.
This is Fred Rogers.
And who are you? I mean, I don't even know you.
When you were a little boy, what kinds of things did you like to do?
How is he not losing it?
I'm going to hang up.
Hello?
You could tell at this point he was just not having it, and then it gets good.
Continental Hydraulics.
Yes, hi.
Why are you calling me?
And I'll show you what's going to fit in that hole. It's in my pocket here.
Oh, man.
I remember one time some of our neighbors who were studying ballet dancing got dressed up to look like raccoons.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I meet you out in the street, I'll make you look like a raccoon.
Yes, I'm going to feed my fish, and then I'll go out and wait for you. Can you find the cat?
Okay, what is this about?
I was just making some popcorn.
Okay.
I think you must want 143-6870.
I think you need to dial a prayer. You need a lot of help.
Hello?
I always feel like your grandparents are my grandparents since I don't have any grandparents around.
Yeah.
So when
I'll gift them to you.
Your dad or your grandpa used to call the show all the time, and they listen every single morning. And when we do the secret sound, Kat only shares with them what the secret sound is.
Yeah.
And knowing your grandma is going to turn 96.
96. And my grandpa just turned 97. They have always loved the fact that I was on the radio when I lived in Fargo for that whole year.
They're the only people that are ever impressed by that.
Yes, my mom doesn't even listen. She's like, I listen to NPR. But she, they would drive all the way up. They would stay at the Wingate Hotel, and they would bring their boombox and cassette tapes. And every time I'd come on, they'd press record and play.
Dang.
And then I'd meet them at their hotel.
Did you ever tell them that we had digital recordings of this, that they didn't need to do that?
No, this was when I lived in Fargo. We didn't even have that there. I'd have to rewind certain parts. And
so they wanted to gotcha.
So they would play it when I got there, have me explain why I did certain things. I mean, they were my biggest fans.
Genuine interest in your career.
Yes, I loved it. It was beautiful. They're beautiful people.
I've never had a relative that had any genuine interest in my career. Not one.
Oh, maybe they just faked it because they didn't want to give you any.
They tell me how stupid it is that I didn't end up in law school.
Well, that's nice. But it's going to be her birthday, and I'm going to take her out to get her nails done, and we're going to get her hair done. She's very excited. And then we'll grab some lunch and go home and just celebrate her. But she's always been so put together. And that was one of her biggest pieces of dating advice. I'm sure she gave it to my mom. She gave it to myself, my sister. Always look like what they would look for. That's what she says. So very back in the day advice, like you want to keep them happy so they don't stray.
Do you think your grandma was the type of woman that in the middle of the night she'd do her hair and makeup so that she woke up looking that great for your grandfather?
I never saw her look terrible ever in the morning. No, her hair was always great. She
got
slept
up an
in a
hour
bonnet.
Before. Yeah, right.
And then she'd just wake up and take her little fill-in comb and fluff it up and spray the Aquanet. Everything was pieced together.
Ellie was a dime back in the day too, wasn't she?
Yes. You saw that picture of her with who is it? Paul Newman.
I'd make a run at that.
She was gorgeous. And then she
great
always
rack
said
too.
Really? She had the pointy boobs.
Your grandma had great rack.
Like the bra, that was crazy. Always look like what they would look for is her dating advice, which is very anti-feminist. It's like, yeah, let's keep him happy. But you always want to put your best foot forward.
You don't fish without bait.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at it, right? Like, I mean, almost all of us have a first impression that you fall in love with or that you're attracted to.
So I don't know if you remember the ensemble that I wore on Friday, but it was terrible. And then I met Derek for lunch, and he's like, what if we were going on a first date? I go, wouldn't you want that? Like, wouldn't you want to know what you're about to hop into? Like, this is what you see is what you get. And so I want your dating advice. If you got it from an elder, did it work? Was it something that you still put into play today?
Be interested to see how much of this still translates.
Yeah.
It's just a different culture right now. But if grandma or grandpa or even mom or dad gave you one piece of dating advice, what would it be? I feel like your grandparents were just young people when we started doing our show. Now they're 96 and 97.
Well, we've been doing the show for almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And
Jesus.
so that means they were in their late 70s.
I was young then even. So just hearing the advice from Kat's grandmother, who's turning 96 in a couple of days, about dating and life. And it's one of those things that, when they speak, you have to listen so closely because there's something deep in there that is a reason they've been married 70 years and a reason they're 96 and 97. You know what I mean? They have some knowledge.
Yeah, her knowledge, her advice has always been always look for what they would look for. And that's very 1950s.
You know what that is? It's just like dress for the job you want, not the job you have.
Yeah. So if you start to give him slop, then they'll probably want to start
you're
looking
still married.
else.
You've ignored her advice for all these years, and yet the smile on your face and no, not a ring on your hand. Jasmine had texted in, always play coy is what my mom says. I'm really not sure what that means right now, though.
That means to be just a little shy, like, I don't quite pick up on your cues.
Don't give them all the details, maybe. Like some of us are so fast to try to impress somebody that you give them all the details of your life.
Alexis had said that you should just always be honest when it comes to dating. So
I would never be married.
You can be totally honest. You have to count on them being honest and not wasting your time. That's my biggest problem with these poor single people out there right now. They don't know if somebody across the table is just feeding them a line of BS, and then they have to sift through it later.
What do you think is the biggest bunch of crap you ever dealt someone when you were dating them?
I always told the truth. What do I have to hide? Did you say you made the MLB team?
I once told a girl that I was going to be on the St. Louis Cardinals roster for spring training. We had kind of saw each other over a Christmas break. I was a sophomore in college. And I said, I guess I'm probably not coming back to school for next fall semester because I know the Cardinals are scouting me pretty hard.
Oh, my God, embarrassing.
And she was so impressed because I think she knew that the signing bonuses for some of these guys are millions of dollars. This guy might make $30 million a year. And then all of a sudden I became attractive to her. Speaking of the coy thing, Jamie, what'd you want to say?
Well, it's really funny that you bring this up because I was just having this conversation recently with a coworker, and she's an older coworker. She's actually 4 decades older than me, but she said to always play coy in a relationship. So I decided to take her up on the advice and always play coy.
Okay, and how is it working for you? So when you play coy, you just kind of if people don't know what that word means, you just maybe you're not as aggressive as some people are where you show them right away that you're interested.
Yeah, it's kind of like playing a little hard to get. You're more shy and stuff and reserved and, you're not out there right away.
So how did that work for you?
To be completely honest with you, it didn't work, and I'm never taking her advice again.